Welcome to another episode of Community Conversations. I'm Jamal Williams. Our guests today are the members of the Laurel Lions Club. The club has been a staple in the City of Laurel for decades. Their mission is to be the global leader in community, provide humanitarian service by improving health and well-being of others while encouraging peace and international understanding. This year marks their 90th anniversary as they continue to provide services in the City of Laurel. Please welcome two members of the Laurel Lions Club, Donald Danneman and Bob Mignon. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good to be here today.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. You guys have been around the community for 90 years. That's a huge milestone.
Absolutely. The Laurel Lions Club actually celebrated our 90th anniversary April 20th. We were chartered in 1932. And we are, in our district of many Lions Clubs, we are one or maybe the oldest Lions Club still in existence today.
That's beautiful. So how did the club get started so far? Can you tell us the history about it?
Sure. In the old days, when Lions Clubs first started forming in the United States, they were basically created by the backbone of the small business community, the business leaders. It would be the doctors, the lawyers, the dentists. It would be the building and trade businesses, hardware stores, the small ones that you'd find along Main Street. That's what created Lions Clubs in the beginning. But over the years, as things have changed and small businesses have been gobbled up by a lot of franchises and big box stores and even the internet, you're finding that the membership that comprises the Lions Club has also needed to make a shift. And today, Lions should really be members of our entire community from all walks of life. We want to really have that global position where we're representing everyone in our community, because we feel that the more different cultures are in our club, the better we can serve our community, because we can learn about what our community really needs to do and where we need to serve. And anyone can join the Lions Club as long as they're at least 18 years of age. They can join. And oftentimes in schools, you might find a Leo Club, which are kind of like what Future Farmers of America would be in schools. They're the students that are learning how to do service projects and become, hopefully later in life, they'll become Lions Club members also. We have lots of different types of memberships. But that's what we look for in our community, is for everyone to get involved today. We can't just rely on our small business owners. The box stores that are in our community, while they provide services, they're employees in our community. They really don't have the same skin in the game as people that actually live here in our community. The people we look for are people that have great servitude hearts. You really have to want to serve other people and make other people's lives better. That's one of the, wherever there's a need, you always find a line.
In California, Berkeley Lions formed the first scout troop for blind boys. With their peers, they explored the outdoors and learned citizenship. Lion George Ahern served as scoutmaster for many years.
My greatest thrill is watching these boys develop skills, broaden their interests, gain self-confidence, and thoroughly enjoy themselves.
I always tell people one of the greatest ways to live a life of significance is how many people's lives are made better because you live.
Now, as the president of the Laurel Lions Club, how has it grown? How have you seen it go from what it was when you started and to where it is now in 2022?
Well, I've been a Lion for 30 years, and when I joined in, I guess, 1986?
Yes.
Or something like that. 1990, we had like 60, 70 members in our club. Our club now today has shrunk down to 16 members. So there's really been a lack of interest, I think, in the community to join service organizations. I don't know really where that's coming from, but we really need to rejuvenate that, because you get a lot of blessings in your life when you're doing things for other people. And I really enjoy being a line and serving. Now, a lot of people will join the Lions Club thinking it's just another networking organization. And yes, there are great networking opportunities, and there's great ways to learn about public speaking and learn leadership skills. There's all those wonderful things that you can do there. But if a person's joining the club just for what I can get out of it for my own business, they're really missing the point. The point is about service to others. And so I've really seen people just saying, with both family members working now and children being raised, there's a shortage of time. Everyone's competing for our time today. But if you really want to make your community great, and the Lions is the secrets of this community. If you really want to make it great, get involved and become a Lion.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are some of the programs that you guys support in the City of Laurel and internationally?
Thank you, Jamal, for asking that question. Locally, we partner with the city on a number of events. And one is coming up shortly, which is the Halloween Spooktacular at the DePietro Center, which is, I believe, on a Friday, October 28th. Mm-hmm. The next event coming up would be Extravaganza, which is an Easter time of the year event, which we also partner with the city, and the 4th of July committee. When, for the 4th of July, we work with the 4th of July committee. We subsidize and provide some dollars to them. So those are some of the events that we do in the city. As far as community organizations that we support in the city, we support the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department, we support the Rescue Squad here in Laurel, also the Maryland City, because that's unincorporated Laurel Volunteer Fire Department, and Laurel High School and Pilate High School. We provide scholarships for a senior at each one of those high schools in order to further their education. And then services that we provide. I'm also a co-chair along with Lion Charles Brannon for the Health and Welfare Committee that we have at the club. And we do eyeglass recycling. So we have donation boxes placed at strategic places in the Laurel, Greater Laurel area where people can take used eyeglasses and drop them off in those boxes. And then the Lions Club takes those used glasses and puts them through a recycling process, rejuvenates them, and sends them to places in need. We also, as a club, pay for eyeglasses and eye exams for people who are in need. And we maintain a medical shed. The city has been kind enough to allow us to and provide a shed to us where we keep a number of medical devices that people need when they're recuperating from operations, let's say. We have a supply of wheelchairs, hospital beds, very important. These are items that people need, temporarily. After they use the item, they can return it to us, and then we give it to somebody else, and they get to use it. And this has been a very effective program that we provide, service that we provide to the community. We also do a Trex recycling program, whereas we collect plastics that are recycled by the Trex manufacturing company, and they create benches with the recycled plastic, and then we work with the city and donate them to the city, these benches that we provide to them. And then the city places them where they feel a bench ought to be. Some of the projects that we deal with internationally are the Leader Dog for the Blind program, where it's in Detroit, it's outside of Detroit, Michigan, where dogs are trained to help people who are blind so that they can have a service dog. And we provide funding for that. Also, Lions Camp Merrick, which is south of us here, I guess around California, Maryland, in that area. And these Camp Merrick operates in the summer, and they operate for children who are blind or deaf or diabetic. And we support that venture and as the Lions Club. And then we have the Outreach Foundation, which is vision screening, that we support as well. And we deal with the Wilmer Eye Institute up in Baltimore and support them with their vision screening.
Millions are free from cataracts because SightFirst invested in building eye health infrastructure and training eye care professionals.
It has got very far-reaching ramifications on development, on education, on poverty, and also quality of life.
How does all this happen? What makes all this happen? It's money that we are able to raise. And fundraising is a very important role for us. And our King Lion, president of our organization, Don, will talk a little bit about the fundraising that we do.
Okay. Well, since you've already talked about the services you provide, what types of memberships, I know you alluded to that you have to be 18 or older, but what type of memberships are available for people that do want to join the Lions Club? I know you said you're down to 16 right now, but there could be some people that maybe want to sign up.
Absolutely.
Sure. It's really interesting the way the membership works. All of our fundraising events, all the profits go into the programs that we support. The administrative costs are totally covered by our membership dues. So that's a nice thing. They're not really expensive. Active members pay $135 a year. But there are some really nice discounts for like family memberships where you can have up to four persons living in the same household, and then they get additional discounts, so it becomes cheaper. There's also student discounts. So if you're in a college or university, it costs less. There's a lot of those programs that are out there as new members. Not expensive to join, but you're joining the greatest organization in the world. We're in over 200 countries with over 1.4 million Lions in the worldwide. It's the largest service organization in the world.
Wow.
It's really cool. You know, as far as our fundraising events go, there's a couple things really coming up. First of all, we're going to be at the Main Street Festival, which is coming up on Saturday the 15th of this month. And then our final fundraising event for the year is our steamed crab sales, where Harris Seafood from the Eastern Shore comes over from Kent Island. They set up on the parking lot directly right at the intersection of Route 198 and 197 where the Home Depot is located. And directly across from that used to be the Laurel Sport Fit Center.
Yep.
And the city now owns the building, and through the graciousness of the mayor, that building and parking lot has been made available so we can plug into the electric and the water. And Harris Seafood comes up there, sets up all the steamers, and they steam Maryland #1 Maryland blue crabs, all male blue crabs, and they're a mixture of small, medium, and large sizes. Crabs have been really good. We had one this July. Our next one is October 22nd, Saturday, October 22nd. It's a pop-up event. It's from 1 to 4 p.m. We encourage people to call. They can call my phone number directly to place their orders at 301-467-0605. If I don't answer the phone, just leave a message. I'll call you right back. I'm good at that. We'll take your orders over the phone. We sell by the dozen, the half bushel, and the bushel. Dozens are $60. Half bushels are $165, and bushels are $325. You're going to really have a good time. Put a party together. You know, crab season's ending really shorter this year, so it's a great time to pick up crabs. If you're on Main Street, you can place an order even that day on the 15th.
Oh, wow.
We'll be right there. I'll have my square set up. You can place your order right on the spot. Come look for us on Main Street. You'll see our Lions Club banners, but you'll see steam crab banners. You're hoping that you're going to get a hard-shelled crab right on the spot, but you're not. You have to wait till the following Saturday. But these fundraisers are hugely important. At those events, you can also drop off your soft plastics if you want. You can drop off aluminum cans, eyeglasses. We also accept used hearing aids. And by the way, I don't know if Bob said something about the medical shed, which I think is really exciting, is the use of the equipment out of that medical shed is absolutely free. There is no cost involved whatsoever. Sometimes we get the equipment back, sometimes we don't. We don't keep score because guess what? Other families pass on medical equipment to us all the time, and that keeps this whole process going. But it's a really important service. So take advantage of these things that the Lions Club offers. And when I talk about fundraising, let me mention the Lions Club is a 501c3. That means when you support the Lions Club, or if you want to make donations to the Lions Club, they are tax deductible for you. So if that's something you would really like to support in our community so we can support you better, please, don't hesitate. No donation amount is too small.
Right. And then where can they donate these funds? Say if they can't make like the Crabfest or come to a Main Street Festival, is there any other way of also giving?
Yes, they can mail any donations directly to our P.O. Box, which is P.O. Box 13, Laurel, Maryland, zip code 20725. They can always make a donation there, and when you make a donation, we'll make sure that we send you a letter back thanking you for your donation for your tax records, so you have that as well.
Wow, beautiful.
And if that doesn't work, call me anytime.
Got you.
Anytime.
Sounds good. You mentioned earlier, and we alluded to about there only being 16 members here in the City of Laurel. I know obviously you guys are a global organization, more than 1 million members in the Laurel Lions Club. What do you see as the future of this club, and how can it progress, or how can it continue to be even bigger than it already is?
Well, I really believe that people in the community that are hearing this, you need to ask yourself a question. Is this something that might be attractive to you to serve other people? And if that's really touching your heartstring, you should just pick up the phone, call. You can always go to the lionsclubs.org website, and you can always send a message, that way. But we also have an email, which is md.lines@gmail.com. You can always send an email out to us, and we'll answer you, or call me up. We'll invite you. Our meetings are being done virtually on Zoom. We do them on the second and fourth Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. So if you'd like to Zoom in on one of our meetings just to get a flavor of things, and since COVID's kind of where it is right now, we've actually done three meetings now where we've met in Laurel at local restaurants and gotten to meet in person. So we're doing some of those, but most of the meetings are on Zoom, and most of the meetings are 45 minutes or less. So it's not a big sacrifice of time, and we don't keep score of people. If you miss a meeting, you're a bad member. There's nothing like that. We're looking for volunteers, people that really want to pitch in and help and make Laurel really great.
Well, in your opinion, and this is a question for both of you guys, what attributes to you make a great line for this organization?
Well, I'm thinking somebody who wants to give back, somebody who is, and giving back, I think, is something that a number of organizations like to do. I like the giver's gain kind of view, where you do something good, and I think what happens is it comes back to you many times over. And the actions that we do in the Lions Club are actions that are actions for good, and the individuals, I think, become more satisfied as human beings, as a member. So there's a lot of, I don't know, psychic kind of income that comes from this being part of the world's largest service organization. And our motto, by the way, is "We serve." It's very simple. We serve. And if there's any need anywhere of any type, a Lion usually steps forward and will help.
Wow. And for you, Dom?
Well, for me personally, I fell in love being a Lion when I saw the lives that we could touch. When we deliver some hospital equipment and you see the look on the people's faces, particularly when people can't afford this equipment, or when you see somebody all of a sudden they have 2 new pairs of eyeglasses and a thorough eye exam, and they just would not have been able to function. Yeah. You know, when you see people that all of a sudden have a leader dog, and now they have their independence and their mobility. When you touch other people's lives that way, when you see the looks on people's faces, and say, you know, thanks, you know, to Lions, you know, for helping us clean up a project. We used to do Christmas in April and go in and do a lot of work in people's houses. Of course, as we got older and we wore out our shoulders and elbows from the hammering, we did less of that. I mean, but you know, in the former days with fundraising, we used to do the largest auto show on the East Coast, 1,600 cars. But car shows are free now today, so nobody wants to do that. And Christmas tree sales we did for generations, over 60 years. And you'd see people come on the Christmas tree lot and they'd want to negotiate price. And I'd ask them, I said, you know, we don't really negotiate price, but if you need a tree, if you really need a tree, the price is free. Wow. And when you saw people, you know, you strapped it on the roof of their car or loaded it in their trunk, and they just said, wow, free Christmas tree. You know, but that's what we're there to do, is make people's lives better. That's what gets me on Lions.
Wow.
Yeah. And things have changed over the years. The last 30 years, things have changed. The needs in the community changed. They've shifted. As Don mentioned, the auto show no longer was a viable fundraiser for us. Then the Christmas trees did not become a viable fundraisers for us. And then our King Lion came up with this concept of the crab feast, the steamed crabs, and that seems to be very, very viable. We've done well with that, and we're going to continue with that until it's no longer viable.
And to your point, do you feel like you guys possibly need to adapt in terms of what the needs and the wants are of the City of Laurel, like the Crabfeast or things of the nature?
Absolutely.
Any ideas that you may have that maybe you want to implement for the future?
Well, once we get some more new members in the club, and the beauty about new members is new ideas.
Yes.
New ideas. I love new ideas. I want people to come in and say, these are areas we could help with. I mean, last year we did a service project where it was called Make a Difference Day, and we collected all kinds of pet foods and canned foods, and we found places in our community to donate, you know, these items to, and that was really a cool thing to do. I mean, some things you do aren't necessarily fundraisers; they're just straight community service projects that people want to get behind and see. You know, like my wife says, you find a need and fill it. Find a need and fill it. So what needs are we missing, guys? Come join us and tell us what we're missing, and then tell us where you can fit in and help us achieve these goals to make, you know, our community stronger and better.
That's very good. Final question for both of you two. What's been the most satisfying part of being a Lion for you? I know it's been 30 years for you, and for Bob, it's been a long time for you. What has been the most satisfying part for both of you individually being a Lion?
Well, the most satisfying thing for me is seeing people like Bob Mignon that have served our club mightily for many years. And just recently, when we talked about memberships, we actually conferred upon Lion Mignon life membership. So that means our club.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a great
It's an
thing.
honor.
he's one of 5,000 people in the United States that are life members.
That's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal, and he's put in a lot of service. He's spearheaded a lot of projects. He's added a lot of value to the community and to the club by his leadership and presence. And it was so nice at the Olive Garden just a week ago Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We actually gave him his certificate, which I'm sure he's going to frame and proudly display in his home, because it's a great achievement. He's got a membership card that's not paper. It's like it's
metal.
It's metal. I mean, it's really nice, and it's a great honor, you know, to do that. We have 9 life members in our club, and that's a pretty cool thing. So.
And for you, Bob?
I got a great deal of satisfaction out of joining the club initially and being able to work with other business people who had talents that I could learn from. It's a gift being able to work with some of these people, Lion Don being one of them. But we had Lion Jack Clark, Tim Abel, some who's who in businesses here in Laurel, and I got to work on projects alongside of them. And it helped me develop as an individual. So you give your time and your knowledge and what you can give, but you also are learning things. Right. And it's helping you become a better human being, a better, more effective individual. Right. And that's what I enjoy about our club.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. Donald, thank you so much for joining me. And Bob, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you guys at home for joining us on another episode of Community Conversations. I'm Jamal Williams. See you next time.